Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're reacting to NBA TV's The Dream Team documentary, man. I've been doing deeper dives into Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Shaq, who else? Kareem, all these legends from the past that I did not grow up with as a Gen Z kid. But yeah, man, it's been a great journey. If y'all are interested in checking some of those older videos out, go ahead. But yeah, man, the Dream Team is heavily recommended by you guys. Obviously, we got the GOATs in there. We also got Charles Barkley, who was on the Dream Team. And I think many said that he was the best player on the Dream Team over Michael Jordan. That's a rumor. That's a rumor I heard. So let's check out the documentary. And yeah, man, let's check out who all was on the Dream Team. I'm kind of forgetting, man. I've never really looked into them. I've seen some highlights, of course, on like social media or just people on ESPN talking about it when they're comparing different Olympic teams, but never really took a deep dive into the Dream Team. So let's check it out and learn more, bro. Let's do it, man. We open-minded as heck.
Talk about dreams so much in sports. Dream seasons. Dream matchups. Dream opportunities. They do it because so much of sports is about imagining what you want things to be like.
True. I've won multiple championships in my driveway.
If only the setting
in my
were
head.
Just right.
It was one of those times none of us will ever forget.
The characters just right.
I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble.
The timing just right.
11 Hall of Famers. I don't think you can ever do that again at no point in time.
If only it could all be the way you might have dreamed it up yourself.
Are you filming? Yep.
That was the most exhilarating 15 seconds of my life.
People perceived us as being superheroes.
Please, Michael Jordan!
No Isaiah Thomas
No
stuff.
Isaiah Thomas question.
Cool.
We became a team, and that team just stomped on everybody.
This never happened in sports. Nowhere.
Well, I figured eventually there'd be a movie made about the Dream Team.
This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sports.
By the way, this is the highest the volume will go. I'm trying to figure out if I can get it a little louder. It's kind of quiet up in here. Let me try something.
God bless you, and God bless America.
20 years
What's he doing here?
Pretty fast, and the world isn't gonna stop and wait for you to remember what it used to look like. 1992 was a time of change. New faces in America quickly transforming into cultural icons. None more so than the superstars of the NBA.
The Bulls have repeated. Let the party begin.
After the legends of the 80s had lifted the league's profile to new heights, a fresh crop of players had blown the lid off.
What a dunk.
Here's Hewitt. Robinson.
Their talents and their charisma made them more than just basketball players.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I feel like the NBA produces the best celebrity athletes, more so than like NFL or baseball or anything. Like, I feel like, I mean, maybe soccer for the global aspect of it, they're big celebrities, but I feel like NBA, at least in the US, there's no comparison between sports on celebrity.
I am not a role model.
They were a new kind of star athlete whose popularity transcended the game.
Mike, if I could be like Mike.
Is it the shoes?
No, Mom.
And now the very best of them awaited their brightest showcase, the world's largest athletic stage, the Olympic Games in Barcelona, Spain, even if no one truly realized the impact they would make there.
It's a watershed moment in the history of sports, not just the Olympics, not just basketball. It moved the culture along.
But in 1992, not everyone was ready for them. Not everyone thought pro basketball stars had a place in the Olympics.
This kind of thing had never, ever, ever been done. So there was a lot of, poking the bear, if you will, by people in my profession. Sports journalists and journalists in general were skeptical, angry, because this wasn't the Olympic movement.
The Olympic ideal had always been about amateur competition.
Really?
Which meant the United States had always sent basketball teams made up of college kids.
What?
Teams that dominated for decades. In 1972, the Soviet Union was awarded a victory over the U.S. in a controversial gold medal game.
Dang, bro. That must have been intense, too, because y'all got the whole Cold War. Maybe 72, the Cold War. I can't remember when the Cold War was happening. I know it ended in 91, I think. But, dude, that must have been controversial, man, because those two were arguing a lot.
But the debate still goes on.
To this day, that American team still hasn't claimed their silver medals.
Really?
But that result seemed like a fluke when the Americans got the gold in their next two Olympic appearances.
The U.S. has its 9th gold medal.
While the U.S. celebrated, though, the rest of the world was catching up. So in 1988, when the Soviets won again, there was no talk of any fluke.
Okay, that was definitely toward the tail end of the Cold War. That must have been even more controversial.
Goes home with a semi-final loss to the bigger, more experienced USSR team.
Dang.
I was embarrassed. I know some of the guys left their medals there in the room. They didn't want to take them home. And here we are, USA on our chest, and we didn't get the job done.
But the amateur ideal had gotten muddled. While NBA players were prohibited from Olympic competition, professionals from other leagues abroad could play.
If you played in Europe for money, you were an amateur, but if you played in the NBA for money, you were a professional.
Weird.
And so our players weren't eligible.
Those other countries were using pros, playing against 18, 19-year-old kids. That is really unfair.
Changing the hypocrisy, though, was a central goal of a European named Boris Stankovic, the head of FIBA, the World Basketball Federation.
He was very much intent on lifting basketball up to the highest possible level of international sports. And if the whole world knew that the very best players in the world were not participating in the Olympics, that made it a second-class event.
So in 1989, Stankovic issued a resolution to allow pros from all leagues.
Stankovic? Man, you know he got bullied.
To compete in the Olympics. But back in America, the NBA was lukewarm to the idea.
We wanted to be good partners with FIBA to grow the sport of basketball, but we weren't particularly anxious. We didn't know what it would mean. We didn't know if our players would want to do it. We didn't know what the logistics were, but the vote passed, and NBA players were eligible for the Olympics.
Now the issue wasn't about whether American pros could play, but whether the best players wanted to play.
True.
The one guy that, that we were a little concerned about was probably Michael.
The thought back then was Michael Jordan plays 36 holes of golf 90 days during the summer. What the hell is he going to be doing playing basketball?
I was hoping they would not ask me to participate. And I was trying to figure out a way graciously that I could decline. I'd done the Olympic thing before, and when Rod Thorne called me and asked me, I wasn't gung-ho about it.
My appeal to him was, you're the top player in the world. This is bigger than the NBA Finals, and, we need you. His thing, well, who else is playing?
Okay, I get that it is the world stage, so technically it is bigger than the NBA Finals, but for a basketball player, do you think it means more to win a Finals or to win a gold medal? Because I feel like, to me, it's probably still the Finals. That's what they work toward for most of their careers versus the 4 years. Like, the Olympics, it's like, I don't really want to go, but I'll do it because I know we can win kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I would say the Finals is probably more impactful for their careers versus winning an Olympic gold medal.
All the good players going to play. I'm not going to play by myself.
So Michael Jordan waited to hear more. And Rod Thorne made his next call.
It was a no-brainer for me. I was in from day one. And I figured if I jumped in first and said I wanted to play, that would get guys to want to participate as well.
I think if Magic wasn't on that team, I don't think it would have been as spectacular as it was. And to finish out our careers, that was important for both of us.
Yeah, that's dope.
Once you get guys like Magic and Larry committing to the team, then all of a sudden it becomes something very, very special. Representing the USA is already a tremendous honor, but to know that you're going to be on a dream team is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Magic, Bird, and David Robinson weren't alone in their pride.
They called in the big guns. We're the Navy SEALs that we had to go over there and kick butts and take names.
With those stars and the Utah Jazz tandem of John Stockton and Karl Malone, the Dream Team was starting to take shape.
It don't matter if you call me last. I got the call.
True.
I didn't feel like that I deserved to be called, but I truly wasn't going to tell them that.
Scotty, what? Have some more respect for your game, bro.
I was like, yeah, I'm in. I didn't even think to say who else on the team. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Yes.
Nice.
Charles Barkley's ability was never in question, but his attitude was.
God want us to win the world championship.
I don't know if I go that far, Charles.
No, I talked to him the other night.
I learned early in Philadelphia. It doesn't matter what I say. So from this day forward, I'm going to say what the hell I want to say. And some people are going to like it, and some people are going to dislike it.
But after a series of incidents on and off the court, the least of the committee's concerns were about what Barkley would say.
I was asked to talk to him. He was so honored that we would even think about asking him. He convinced me that you won't have any problems with me.
Now, with the team nearly complete, Rod Thorne had enough talent secured to go back to where he started.
Representing my country was a big thing, but I think, the biggest motivation for me was now I get to spend time with some of the guys I compete against all the time.
Portland's Clyde Drexler rounded out the list of NBA players, while the final spot on the roster was reserved for an amateur, Duke's Christian Laettner, coming off back-to-back NCAA titles.
Dang. Okay, Christian.
Puts it up. Yes!
In any other Olympic year, Laettner might have been the team's biggest star, but on this team, he was fine with being the last guy on the bench.
Is that actually how they won the championship on a buzzer beater? Yo, I gotta look into more Christian Laettner. Dang.
I tell people this all the time, and it may shock them, but my most enjoyable year was my freshman year because they don't expect nothing from you except carry the luggage, do the laundry, and get our donuts. And that's easy. The harder thing is to be the leader.
Yeah.
By May of 1991, 2 months before the Olympics, the team was set.
Stacks, man.
One college kid and 11 future Hall
Now,
of Fame.
I feel like I've heard that Isaiah Thomas got snubbed from the team. I'm curious if they'll dig into that.
The man charged with putting it all together was the unflappable Chuck Daly.
Unflappable?
Okay, all set?
I'm set.
That's a flap right there.
Looked the part. He was the guy that looked like he owned the arena, but he would also push the broom.
His hair was beautiful. His suits were immaculate. He wanted to win, but he wanted to look good.
As the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, Daly did both, winning back-to-back championships in 1989 and 90.
Okay.
Still champions of the world.
The Pistons were nicknamed the Bad Boys for their aggressive and some said dirty style of play, never more evident than in their memorable playoff battles with Michael Jordan's Bulls.
Michael on the move against Vinnie Johnson in the hoop. He is necktied. Michael Jordan goes down hard.
Detroit and Chicago had no love for each other.
So when Daly was named the Dream Team coach, many wondered how he'd handle working with the Bulls' biggest star.
Good point, man.
I was being asked to wrestle with some demons and some issues.
But the coach was well acquainted with the task of managing personalities.
He coached the bad boys. And if you can coach those, you can coach anybody.
Dude, Chuck is so funny.
One player Daly wouldn't be coaching in the Olympics, however, was his own star in Detroit.
Here we go.
Point guard Isaiah Thomas, who controversially had been left off the team's roster.
No matter how much people try to say now, it was no big a deal. It was a big deal.
I talked to Isaiah at the beginning of the year about the aspect he wasn't on the team, and he was not comfortable with it. I'm sure he is very hurt. He's a very deserving player, but he was not selected.
Tough.
Thomas was well on his way to a Hall of Fame career, but was also seen by many as the biggest cultivator of the bad boys image in Detroit.
Isaiah was the general. He was the guy that would yap at his
Dang.
teammates and say, knock them on the ass, do whatever you got to do.
A beautiful backdoor pass from Pippen, and he is walloped. He knew he was going to get hit.
I despised the way that he played the game.
Mm.
Did you want him on the dream team?
No, I did not want him on the team.
Did Michael? Did he want him on the team?
Well, I can't speak for Michael, but I don't think he wanted him on the team.
Now, there has been speculation that your icy relationship with Isaiah Thomas is the reason that he was not selected. Well, what is your reaction to that?
That was one of the stipulations put to me prior to me even committing, that Isaiah wasn't a part of the team.
Okay.
I was getting
So it was brought forward to him. It's not like he said, I'm in if IT's out.
strong innuendos that it wasn't just, it was coming from higher places that didn't want Isaiah Thomas on the team.
Okay.
Certainly things are being pointed at me because of our relationship and of course about the way that the end of the game between Detroit and Chicago ended.
We were picking the group just after the Pistons had been eliminated by the Bulls, and it was very bad timing for Isaiah. Everybody had fresh in their mind the picture of Isaiah walking off the court.
Pistons wasting no time in getting out of here. They left the bench, although there's 7 and 9 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left.
When the Pistons walked off the court before the final bell, I think it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
All right, no Isaiah Thomas stuff.
No Isaiah Thomas questions.
Cool.
Jordan and the team were done answering questions about Isaiah.
Dang. For those of y'all who were around back then, was this really that controversial? Do y'all think he should have made it? Do you think they did it for Jordan, or do you think there was other factors? I'm curious.
With training camp approaching, a bigger question would need to be answered.
Hello, how you doing?
How would the 12 stars that were selected play together?
Welcome. Probably really well, man.
Training camp began on June 22nd, 1992, in La Jolla, California. And when the gym doors opened, no one was quite sure what to expect, especially the players themselves.
It's a lot of egos in one gym and on one team. Everybody wanted their form to shine and showcase why they were a part of this team.
With all these stars on the team, if it comes down to the last shot, who's going to take the shot?
Me. Everybody in the world has an ego. The only difference between us, we have a reason to have an ego.
Every one of us felt like we was everybody.
And when practice started that first day, every player seemed to be trying to prove just how great they were.
There was 0 assists that game. Only John Stockton was passing that game.
And I'm thinking, aren't we all on the same team?
Patrick go, I don't want to play with David, I want to play against him. Then you hear Michael say, I don't want to be on Magic's team, I want to play against him.
Every evaluation of Michael Jordan at that time was, he's good, but he's never Magic Johnson. In my competitive nature, I want to use every little bit that I could gather so that I can gain an advantage.
See, man, this is so cool to hear about the narratives. In 92, it's like, he's good, he won his first chip, he'll never be Magic Johnson. Like, it's crazy how we've gotten to a point where it's like, he's miles ahead of him now.
Karl Malone, he's the only guy I would even compare to myself at the power forward position. So I want to prove that I was the best power forward in the world.
Charles. Yeah, he's a great talent. Do I think he's better than me? Hell no. So let's do this. By the time this over with, you're going to be thinking I'm damn good too.
The first practice, Barkley drives baseline and Karl Malone jumps up like this. Barkley just dunked on him so hard. It was just an unbelievable play. I felt like, man, I cannot believe that I'm part of this practice.
Facts, dude.
A few days later, the team had a chance to acclimate themselves to playing on the same side. Chuck Daly had scheduled a scrimmage against a select group of college players, a group thrilled to be facing off against their idols.
I found out today I might be picking up Magic a little bit full court, so, you know, things are just happening for me that really makes me happy.
My whole thought process was don't embarrass yourself, and that was like the theme for me, like just hang in there.
A lot of those people that I've looked up to, Barkley, Malone, a lot of those people talk confidence, and I think it's going to be a good matchup, you know. There's no advantage on either side.
For the college players, it was a chance to see how they'd match up against the world's best. For Coach Daly, it was an opportunity to get his stars to grow into a single unit.
I think we're somewhere between the mentality of an all-star game and trying to come together as a team. So we've got to continually work on this.
Daly had been hired for his ability to manage personalities and egos. And when the scrimmage began, it became apparent that his players had left one of their biggest weapons, those egos, somewhere else.
The non-fan would think, well, they're going to go in there and they're each going to want their own ball, and Jordan's going to be hogging the ball, and you know, Magic's going to be dribbling all over the place. Point of fact, it was the exact opposite. They overpassed.
It was like, I don't want to start it off. You know, you do it. And before you realize it, the select team was beating us by 10.
Dang.
We didn't know how to play with each other. We didn't want to step on anybody's toes or hurt any egos. So these young kids, they were killing us.
I'm sorry, dude. That pass is not about egos right there. That was just a bad pass.
Anybody's toes or hurt any
what?
Egos. So these young kids, they were killing us.
We were not into it.
Crazy.
And we paid for it.
Chris Webber was a man. I thought, boy, that's the guys coming this league. I could get out of here.
Bobby Hurley.
I gotta get out. I feel like that's how everybody feels about Victor Wembanyama right now. It's like, ah, crap. This guy's gonna dominate the league for a while.
I did have some success penetrating and collapsing the defense, and our energy, our excitement to play, all those things played in our favor.
Bobby Hurley didn't play 2 seasons in the NBA. Nevertheless, it did expose the one weakness they could have had, which is defending against quick guards.
They were playing great. Then I noticed that Michael Jordan's not playing.
I'm saying something. Chuck, then he said, we're all right. Yeah, we're all right.
Daly watched as his players failed to make up the deficit. And in their first taste of outside competition, the Dream Team lost.
Dang.
A story their coach didn't want the press to get their hands on.
For real, dude. They actually lost that thing? If I was on that team, I would never stop talking about that day.
I remember Chuck saying, as soon as the game ended and we were getting ready to let media in, it was erase the scoreboard.
Media comes in, scores, if not hundreds. They can sense something. You can feel the tension, or you can feel something in the air.
Well, some of these college players we've just got through playing against probably should be on this team, but they'll get their chance.
The teams posed for a picture together, both not sure what to make of what had just happened. But the man in charge...
How many smiles? We got a couple smiles in there. Magic, of course, is smiling. I thought maybe they'd look upset.
may have had the answer.
He threw the game. You know, Chuck threw the game. If you look how much Jordan played and how he subbed guys in, not picking up, not making any adjustments, he knew what he was doing.
Master manipulator.
Legit. It felt tremendous. You know, what we were doing that day, you know, they couldn't stop it.
There are kids who believe in Santa Claus too, and the Easter Bunny, and now that they've grown up, I hate to burst their bubble, but it was a game thrown.
I don't know, dude.
Not many people would have done it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You still, like, even if you bench Jordan, you still threw out players that are way better than these college kids. I don't know that you can just say you threw the game on purpose. Like, what?
He did it.
What? I don't know about that.
It was gratifying to Chuck for us to get our butts beat like that, because now we had to listen to him
from then on, he had a way of just saying,
Dude, is this proof that NBA is a team sport and people should stop talking about individuals? Like, because I saw a video where Jordan said the greatest player of all time is a dumb argument. We should be talking about the greatest team of all time. Maybe this is a good point for that.
you could lose.
After fixing his collars and his hair, his speech was, anybody can get beat, so you got to be ready to play.
It's smart.
And I think that's the only speech he ever gave us.
The message got across. I mean, Chuck couldn't have been happier, I'm sure.
It was brilliant on Chuck's part to be able to orchestrate that and play along like he didn't.
Why didn't he tell you guys?
We probably would have screwed it up.
The next day, training camp ended with a rematch against the college kids. And once play started, everything made sense again.
The tables were turned drastically.
We showed them why we are who we are.
How awkward would it have been if Team USA lost again?
we pretty much beat them by 100.
Woo!
They couldn't score. And by the way, Jordan played a lot more that next scrimmage.
Before the Dream Team could play in the 1992 Olympics,
Crazy,
they had
man.
to qualify. The place to do that was Portland, Oregon, and the Tournament of the Americas. It would be the public's first chance to see the NBA stars together in a game, especially Jordan, Bird, and Magic.
Iconic, dude.
Daly had asked all three to be team captains, but Jordan had turned him down.
I knew how much it meant to both of those guys because they never had the opportunity to play on the Olympics. So I'd say, you know what, Chuck, don't worry about me. Let these old dogs do it.
Magic and Bird weren't just the team's oldest players. They were also the most revered. They had entered the league together in 1979, embarking on a rivalry that had redefined the NBA. And along the way, their personal admiration for one another had grown.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
In 1992, they'd be getting the chance to share the ball. But the opportunity would be coming at the end of their careers. Bird had given his soul to the game. But after so many years, his body was betraying him.
Had back problems. It just get to the point where you just couldn't play. I mean, you couldn't think, couldn't move, couldn't run. If you can't feel your feet, it's hard to run.
Larry was on the fence because of his back, so I said, man, LB, you gotta play, man. You gotta play. This is our last chance to be together.
Magic would be able to convince his old friend to play. But at the start of the 1991-92 NBA season, he was forced to retire after learning he had the HIV virus.
Yeah, man, I just watched their documentary. If you want to check that out, already on the channel. But man, their stories going together is so spectacular, dude. It's got to be the greatest story of a rivalry we've ever had.
Doctors would eventually clear him to play in the Olympics, though that didn't stop fears from swirling.
There's a lot of players that really didn't want him to play, didn't want to play with him or against him, because nobody knew what disease meant. They say you get a little blood on you, you got HIV, or you breathe on you, I never bought any of that, you just keep going. And that's what Irving decided to do, just keep pushing, keep going.
6, 5, 3-pointer, yes, oh my!
Magic had made a cameo in the 1992 All-Star Game and had focused his attention on the Olympics, hoping for an encore of a lifetime alongside his old rival.
Our careers were really over, and it was something I thought needed to happen for both of us.
Their debut would take place at Portland's Rose Garden, with their team needing to medal in the Tournament of the Americas to qualify for the Olympics. That seemed like a foregone conclusion to just about everyone, including their first opponents, who were completely in awe before the game even started.
The Cuban team spontaneously drops to its knees as if 12 popes had come by on Easter Sunday.
Bruh. No way.
At that point, the idea that this is merely a basketball game has been ripped asunder.
It was a surreal feeling, He's like, dude, we're here to kick y'all behind. And they want to take pictures with you.
Then the game begins. Magic and Larry come out together. Two
We're
guys
just
that
happy to be
saved the
here.
league. They wouldn't even be playing this game without those two. And Magic passed the ball. Larry makes the first basket.
Banking in, goes to the fadeaway.
I mean, you know, it just didn't get any better than that.
The U.S. was off and running, and the result was a thing of beauty.
Johnson leading the break, finds
And no one seemed more excited to be sharing the court than the co-captains.
That's so dope, dude.
Bird for three.
Opening night was a smashing success, with the outcome never in doubt.
Bullet from Magic to Portland.
And late in the game, the fans in Portland decided they wanted a curtain call from a three-time MVP.
The crowd start cheering, Larry, Larry, Larry.
You gotta do it, man.
Crowd reacts to the entrance of Larry Bird. A standing ovation.
And as he'd done so many other times in his career, Larry Bird rose to the occasion.
Jordan with the behind the back.
What a save! What?
You just knew that Larry Bird was
Cinema.
not going to miss that shot.
It was a virtually flawless performance. The final margin of victory was 77 points.
Wow.
And Magic and Bird had led the way. For Magic in particular, after a year out of the game, the victory had a special kind of meaning.
So why could Magic participate in the All-Star team and for Dream Team, but he wasn't able to go back to the Lakers? Has that ever been explained?
With HIV, never even thinking that I would ever have a chance to play basketball again, and then basketball for the United States. It was therapy for me, and I needed that in the worst way.
And then there was the matter of making sure Michael Jordan knew he was back as well.
Yeah, you hear what the captain said? The captain said, sit down, or this boat is going to sink.
That's right. Have a seat, because you're going to fall, and then that's going to happen.
That's the seniority right there.
I know it.
With Magic and Michael, there was that little extra something there, you know, and something kind of to prove to each other.
I took it upon myself to always shoot with Michael. Okay, MJ, free throws today. Who was the first one to 50? Or we had little games, who was the better shooter?
You know what you got to do. Know what you got to do.
He didn't want to relinquish that control of the 80s, in a sense, even though we were going into the 90s.
Don't touch the phone. One hand, don't touch it.
You know, he just come off missing a whole year. So it was who can win, who's going to have the bragging rights by the end of this trip.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul. You haven't committed a foul in almost a year and a half, man. How can you talk?
Michael's always tried to let people know that he's the top dog in whatever. That's just his competitive mode.
I'm the young guy with the elder statesman. These old guys, they got arthritis. They can't stand in one spot too long. He's a young puppy. I'm the big dog here. Whatever I say, go.
Bang, Magic. You just got beat by him in the finals.
Winner of Magic and Michael's Can You Top This challenge remained in doubt. When it came to facing the competition in the Tournament of the Americas, the team stood united.
When we took the court in Portland, which, you know, we're on home ground, we wanted to showcase to the fans who would be representing them.
The lead is 30. Steele. Jordan.
I'm gonna send a message around the world today that y'all can give it up. You foreigners can give it up.
With a steal. Stockton has Mullen. Goes the other way. Stockton set him up perfectly.
The Americans won their 6 games at the tournament by an average of 50 points.
Crazy.
All right, Larry,
your impressions of tonight's game?
The gold medal was no surprise. But what was unexpected was the team's interactions with their opponents, who showered them with adulation before, after, and even during games.
That's so cool, dude.
Magic Johnson and Oranga shaking hands after the shot.
The Tournament of the Americas had served its purpose. The U.S. had qualified for the Barcelona Games and given the world its first glimpse of what was coming later that summer.
I want to say this is just a small step to what our goal really is, to get to Barcelona, win the gold medal, and bring it back where it's supposed to be. Thank you.
All right, man. I'm going to leave part 1 right there. Part 2 is going to come very soon after. I got to take a little break to do something. But yeah, dude, this is dope. Like, genuinely really enjoying this documentary. Really happy I'm diving into this. Thank you to the people who recommended this to me. It's so cool to have seen, at this point, all the Michael Jordan videos I've seen, all the Larry Bird, the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird documentary. Like, I'm glad I waited to watch this until all of that. Because even with learning more about Michael, I've learned more about Charles, more about Clyde. And so, and this is making me excited to learn more about, like, David Robinson and stuff like that, man. But, whew, good stuff, dude. Great video so far. I hope y'all have been enjoying this journey with me. Hope y'all have a great day, night, whatever time of day it is for you. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Doses!